Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight from the heart. Your life does not change by accident. It changes by habits. Success, happiness, fulfillment, all of it comes down to the things you do consistently. It's not the big miracle you're waiting for. It's the small, powerful actions you take every single day. I'm here to share with you 5 powerful habits that can change your life forever. And if you make them a part of who you are, you won't even recognize yourself a year from now. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most powerful shifts you can make in your life starts the moment you open your eyes in the morning. The way you begin your day has the ability to shape the way everything else unfolds. Most people don't even realize how much power they have in those first few minutes after waking up. They roll over, grab their phone, check messages, scroll through social media, and immediately invite stress, comparison, and distraction into their mind. Before their feet even touch the ground, they've already given their peace away. That is why the first habit I want you to understand is to master your mornings. Because if you own the morning, you can own the entire day. When you wake up, the first thing you should do is not complain, not think about yesterday's problems, not carry forward the negativity that held you back. The first thing you should do is give thanks. Gratitude is a powerful force because it shifts your mindset from what's missing to what's possible. Waking up itself is a blessing that too many people overlook. Somebody didn't wake up this morning, but you did. That means you've been handed another chance to do something with your life. That means you've been trusted with another opportunity to move closer to your dreams. If you make it a habit to start your day with gratitude, you immediately put yourself in a mindset of abundance instead of lack, of faith instead of fear, of progress instead of being stuck. After gratitude, the next thing is vision. See, a lot of folks wake up and they let the day control them instead of them controlling the day. They wake up with no direction, no picture of what they want, and so life just pushes them around. If you don't have a vision for your day, your week, your future, you'll end up wandering without ever getting anywhere meaningful. Every morning is your chance to set the tone, to imagine where you're headed, to remind yourself of the life you're building. If you start seeing yourself in a better position, living healthier, earning more, building stronger relationships, you're programming your mind to pursue it. That vision becomes like a GPS that keeps guiding you even when distractions come. And let me be real with you, mornings are tough sometimes. You might wake up tired, discouraged, or still carrying the weight of yesterday. But here's the thing, your morning thoughts are like planting seeds in your mind. If you plant seeds of negativity, doubt, and fear, don't be surprised when that's what grows throughout the day. But if you plant seeds of gratitude, hope, and vision, then you'll see those things multiply as the hours go on. It's about training yourself to choose faith over fear, to choose possibility over limitation. The reason this habit is so powerful is because it gives you ownership over your mindset. You can't control everything that happens in life, but you can control how you start each day. You can choose to wake up grateful instead of bitter. You can choose to wake up focused instead of scattered. You can choose to wake up believing instead of doubting. And those choices stack up day after day until they become who you are. Successful people don't just stumble into success, they design it. And one of the most important designs they put in place is a strong morning routine built on gratitude and vision. Think about it. When you leave your house in the morning, if your spirit is heavy, if your mind is cloudy, if your energy is drained, everything feels harder. But when you step out the door already grateful, already clear on where you're headed, already believing in the future you're creating, then no matter what comes at you, you handle it differently. You walk into challenges with strength. You meet people with positivity. You handle stress with patience. That is the ripple effect of mastering your mornings. Let me tell you something that separates dreamers from doers, people who talk from people who walk, and people who start strong from people who actually finish the race. That something is discipline. You can have all the talent in the world. You can have all the ideas, all the connections, all the resources. But if you don't have discipline, you will waste every single gift that God gave you. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent enough to show up when it's not convenient, to follow through when nobody is watching, and to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Talent will only take you so far, but discipline will carry you across the finish line. Discipline is about saying no to the easy option so you can say yes to the better future. Every single day, life is going to offer you shortcuts. It will say, go back to sleep. Nobody will know. Eat whatever you want. Nobody is keeping count. Skip that practice. You've worked hard enough. And if you listen to that voice long enough, you will start building habits that lead you nowhere. But when you build the habit of discipline, you learn to ignore the voice of comfort and listen to the voice of purpose. You push yourself out of bed when your body wants to stay down. You choose healthy fuel when your appetite wants junk. You sit down to work when your mind wants distraction. Discipline teaches you to lead your feelings instead of being led by them. The truth is, your feelings can't be trusted all the time. Feelings come and go. They rise and fall, and they change with the weather. If you live only by your feelings, you will quit every time it gets hard. Discipline is the muscle that tells your feelings, I hear you, but I'm not listening to you right now. It's the voice that says, I've got a goal, I've got a dream, and nothing you say is going to pull me off track. And just like any muscle, discipline grows the more you use it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you push through discomfort, every time you choose long-term gain over short-term pleasure, you are strengthening that muscle. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Think about it. When you say you're going to do something and then you actually follow through, you prove to yourself that your word matters. You start believing in your own power because you're living up to the commitments you made. But when you constantly break promises to yourself, when you keep saying, I'll start tomorrow or I'll try later and never do, you start to lose faith in your own word. And if you can't trust yourself, how do you expect others to trust you? How do you expect to build something solid when the foundation keeps cracking? Discipline is that foundation. Another thing about discipline is that it multiplies in every area of your life. If you build discipline in your health, it spills over into your work. If you build discipline in your work, it spills over into your relationships. If you build discipline in your finances, it spills over into your mindset. It's like a domino effect. The moment you start taking control in one area, you suddenly find it easier to take control in others. Discipline creates order where there was once chaos, and that order gives you peace. You stop being controlled by impulse, by fear, by distraction, and you start being controlled by your purpose. People often think discipline is about restriction, about taking joy out of life. But let me tell you, discipline is not about punishment, it's about freedom. When you are disciplined with your time, you create freedom to pursue what really matters. When you are disciplined with your money, you create freedom to live without debt and stress. When you are disciplined with your habits, you create freedom to enjoy health, energy, and strength. Undisciplined living feels good for a moment, but costs you in the long run. While disciplined living may feel hard in the moment, but rewards you for a lifetime. If you really want to change your life, you have to take a close look at the people you spend your time with, because the company you keep will either pull you up or drag you down. You can have big dreams, big plans, and a fire burning inside of you, but if you surround yourself with people who don't believe in you, people who always speak negativity, or people who are comfortable staying stuck, eventually you'll find yourself lowering your standards to match theirs. Birds of a feather flock together. And if you hang around chickens long enough, you'll start scratching in the dirt instead of flying like the eagle you were created to be. You need to be intentional about who is in your circle, because your circle has a direct impact on your future. Some of you have dreams so big that they scare you, but the people around you can't see it, and instead of encouraging you, they laugh, they doubt, they remind you all the reasons why it won't work. If you keep feeding off that energy, you will start to believe them. That's why you have to be bold enough to separate yourself from anyone who is constantly bringing you down. It doesn't mean you don't love them. It doesn't mean you think you're better than them. It just means you decided to protect your destiny. Sometimes you have to love people from a distance, because staying too close to that negativity will cost you your future. Surround yourself with people who push you to grow, people who are chasing their own dreams, people who challenge you to level up. You need friends who will celebrate your wins, not get jealous of them, who will tell you the truth even when it hurts, and who will remind you of your potential when you start to doubt yourself. Iron sharpens iron, and when you're connected to people who are sharper, wiser, and more determined, you can't help but rise to the occasion. Energy is contagious, so if you spend your time with people who carry faith, focus, and determination, that energy will start to flow into you. You also need to remember that not everyone can go where you're going. There are levels in life, and as you climb higher, the circle gets smaller. The conversations change, the priorities change, the habits change. Some people won't understand why you're working late, why you're studying, why you're grinding, why you don't have time to waste anymore, and that's okay, because those people aren't supposed to be with you on every step of the journey. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing people. Growth is the whole point. The people meant for your future will align with your future. And the ones who can't handle your growth were only meant for a season. Sometimes you're going to have to be the odd one out in your group. The one who says no when everyone else says yes. The one who stays focused when everyone else is distracted. But I promise you, if you stay true to your vision and keep surrounding yourself with people who support that vision, you will see your life change. You don't need a crowd, you just need the right few. Quality over quantity is the rule when it comes to your circle. One strong, loyal, and motivated friend is worth more than 10 friends who gossip, complain, and hold you back. And here's another truth. Your environment is not just about people, it's about what you allow into your mind. If you constantly feed on negativity, toxic conversations, gossip, and small thinking, you'll never grow beyond that. But if you create an environment of positivity, wisdom, and growth, you will naturally start moving toward better things. Your circle is like soil, and you are the seed. If the soil is healthy, the seed can grow strong. But if the soil is toxic, the seed will never reach its full potential. Anybody can start something, but not everybody can stick with it. Anybody can get excited about a new idea, a new plan, a new dream, but only a few will stay consistent long enough to see the results. Consistency is the real secret that separates those who wish from those who achieve. See, a lot of people think success is about talent, but the truth is talent without consistency is wasted potential. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how strong you are, or how creative you are. If you don't show up day after day, consistency is what builds momentum, and momentum is what makes you unstoppable. Most people fail not because they didn't have what it takes, but because they quit too soon. They try for a week, maybe a month, and when they don't see instant results, they give up. But life doesn't work like that. Anything worth having takes time, patience, and repeated effort. Consistency It's doing the work when the applause is gone, when the excitement has faded, when nobody is watching. It's easy to be motivated on day 1 when everything feels new. But what about day 50 when it feels boring? What about day 100 when it feels hard? That's where consistency shows up. That's where champions are made. Consistency is also about building habits that become second nature. Think about it like brushing your teeth. You don't debate every morning whether you should do it, you just do it. That's how your goal should be. When you make consistency a habit, it becomes part of who you are, not just something you occasionally do. You stop negotiating with yourself, you stop making excuses, and you stop waiting for motivation to strike. Motivation is temporary, but consistency is permanent. Motivation might get you started, but consistency is what keeps you going long after motivation has left. Another thing about consistency is that it compounds. The small steps you take every single day might not look like much in the moment, but over time they add up to something extraordinary. You don't get in shape from one workout, but if you keep showing up, your body changes. You don't become successful from one great idea, but if you keep working on it, refining it, building it, you create something powerful. Consistency is like putting drops of water in a bucket. One drop doesn't matter, but keep adding drops day after day, and eventually that bucket overflows. The challenge with consistency is that it's not glamorous. It's not the highlight reel that people post on social media. It's the behind the scenes grind, the quiet effort, the daily discipline. And that's why most people struggle with it, because it's not exciting enough for them. But those who embrace the grind, those who keep showing up even when it's dull, those who choose consistency over instant gratification, they are the ones who rise above the rest. Greatness is not about one big moment. It's about 1,000 small, consistent choices stacked on top of each other. And consistency doesn't just apply to goals. It applies to character. If you want people to trust you, you have to be consistent in how you show up. If you want strong relationships, you have to be consistent in how you love and respect others. If you want success in business, you have to be consistent in delivering value and keeping promises and doing the work. Life rewards the consistent, not the occasion. Opportunities come to those who prove they can be trusted to keep going, to keep building, to keep showing up no matter what. One of the most powerful forces in your life is not what others say about you, but what you say about yourself. The words you speak to yourself every single day shape your beliefs, and those beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your destiny. Too many people go through life tearing themselves down with their own words. They keep repeating to themselves that they're not good enough, not smart enough, not strong enough, not ready. And the more they repeat those lies, the more they start to believe them. What you speak over your life is like planting seeds. And whatever you plant is eventually going to grow. If you keep planting negative words, don't be surprised when negative results show up. But if you start speaking life, if you start speaking victory, if you start declaring who you are and what you're capable of, then you start watering seeds of greatness inside yourself that will eventually bloom. Your self-talk is either your greatest weapon or your greatest weakness. You carry your own voice in your head everywhere you go, and that voice is louder and more consistent than anyone else's. If that voice constantly criticizes you, doubts you, and tears you down, then you're living with an enemy inside your own mind. But if that voice encourages you, strengthens you, and reminds you of your worth, then you're walking through life with a powerful ally. The habit of speaking life into yourself changes the way you approach everything. Instead of saying, I can't, you say, I will find a way. Instead of saying, I'm not ready, you say, I am prepared to learn. Instead of saying, I always fail, you say, every failure is a lesson pushing me closer to success. You have to realize that your words carry creative power. When you declare something about yourself with conviction, your mind starts to look for ways to make it true. If you say, I'm always broke, you will live in a way that keeps you broke. If you say, I'm not disciplined, you will act in ways that prove that statement right. But if you say, I'm building wealth, then your mind will start seeking opportunities. Your actions will start shifting towards saving and investing. And little by little, your reality will align with your words. If you say, I'm disciplined and focused, you will start building habits that reinforce that belief. What you say is not just empty talk, it's the foundation of your reality. Speaking life into yourself is especially important when challenges hit. Life is going to test you, throw setbacks your way, and make you doubt your worth. In those moments, if you rely on the voices of other people, you may be in trouble because not everyone will encourage you. But if you've built a habit of encouraging yourself, of speaking strength and faith into your own spirit, then no matter what storms come, you will not break. You can tell yourself, I've been through worse, and I'll get through this too. You can remind yourself, this setback is temporary, but my strength is permanent. You can affirm, I am more than what I'm going through right now. That inner conversation gives you the courage to keep moving when everything around you is telling you to stop. Another thing to understand is that speaking life doesn't mean ignoring reality. It doesn't mean pretending problems don't exist. It means choosing to declare victory even in the middle of the struggle. It means speaking faith when fear is trying to grip you. It means declaring purpose when confusion is trying to distract you. Speaking life is about aligning your words with the future you want, not the circumstances you're in. The words should reflect your vision, not just your current situation. And let me be clear, speaking life is not a one-time thing. It's a daily habit. Just like you eat daily to fuel your body, you must speak life daily to fuel your spirit. It's something you have to repeat, to reinforce until it becomes natural. At first, it might feel uncomfortable. It might feel like you're lying to yourself. But that's only because you've been programmed for so long with negative words. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes, and soon speaking, life won't feel forced. It will feel like the truth you've always known. Life will test you. Every dream you've ever had, every goal you've ever set, every vision you've ever seen for yourself will be tested. The road to success is not a straight, smooth highway. It is a path filled with obstacles, detours, setbacks, and delays. And the truth is, most people don't make it to their destination, not because they lack the talent, not because they lack the opportunity, but because they lack persistence. Persistence is the habit of refusing to quit. The decision to get back up every single time you get knocked down. The choice to keep going no matter how many times you hear no. If you build persistence into your life, there is nothing that can stop you because persistence will always outlast resistance. You've got to understand that failure is not final unless you make it final. Every person you admire, every person who has achieved greatness has a long list of failures behind them. They've had doors slammed in their face. They've been told they weren't good enough. They've been doubted, rejected, and overlooked, but they kept coming back. They refused to accept defeat as the end of their story. That's what persistence looks like. It's showing up after the setback. It's trying again after the rejection. It's believing in yourself even when no one else does. Persistence is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Most people quit too soon because they expect instant results. They want the reward without the grind, the victory without the battle, the harvest without the planting season. But life doesn't work like that. Persistence is about patience as much as it is about strength. It's about understanding that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't happen. Just because you've been delayed doesn't mean you've been denied. Every step forward, even the small ones, even the ones that don't look like progress, are still moving you closer to the dream if you don't quit. Persistence also builds character. When you push through difficulties, you become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. You start realizing that you can survive what once would have broken you. That strength becomes part of who you are, and it prepares you for even greater challenges ahead. If success came easy, you wouldn't appreciate it, and you wouldn't have the maturity to sustain it. But when you've had to fight for it, when you've had to cry for it, when you've had to get back up 100 times for it, then when it finally comes, you not only appreciate it, but you also have the strength to handle it. And let me remind you, persistence is not about never getting tired. It's about not giving up when you are tired. It's not about never doubting. It's about not letting doubt control your actions. It's not about never falling. It's about refusing to stay down when you do. Persistence is the decision to keep moving forward. One more step, one more day, one more try. Sometimes victory doesn't come from a giant leap. It comes from a series of small, persistent steps taken over and over again. You have to decide that quitting is not an option for you. You have to make up your mind that no matter how long it takes, no matter how many obstacles you face, no matter how many people doubt you, you are going to keep pressing forward, because persistence eventually wears down resistance. The walls that look impossible to climb today will eventually crumble if you keep pressing against them. The doors that look permanently shut will eventually